Stan. Look, we took the costume from the original game and painted it black. Yep. Same animation.
It's that cost savings we had to do.
The pattern that moves with the coat was like something that we did on the 2D games to save ourselves a lot of effort, but as soon as they started making them in 3D, then it became really hard.
Right.
Wait, how do we replicate that effect?
Burial. You hammer all the nails in Stan's coffin to trap him. I turned off min jiffies. There's a little scum tip for you guys.
Just so it would go really fast?
Turned off min jiffies so it would go really fast. But I think on a modern computer it would go so fast that it would break the speed of light and
go back in time?
Yeah, it might cause a shift.
It would undo several puzzles that they had done previously.
Do you remember turning off min jiffies? It was like a Keystone Cops
Well,
effect.
if you held down the shift key, in the debug mode, if you held down the shift key, we just turned off min jiffies. Yeah, so we could run around as fast as we wanted. Yeah.
I love when you use that as a spitting contest.
It's a great day for spitting.
Look at that picture of the spit, the little banner with the spitting mouth. Ugh. What a gross game. Who came up with the spitting contest?
Valuable prizes.
No one wants to own the spitting contest.
No
one's like, that's my baby.
I think you programmed it, though.
Nope. Well, yeah, I did the programming of it.
Programming.
Because it was really challenging, and Week always gave me the...
I like the methods that you used to win, though, which is cheat, and cheat again, basically.
Your standard Guybrush adventure games.
Our games are forming the morals of the youth of today.
It's a game about pirates.
It's a social
You can't teach positive moral values in a game about pirates. Pirates, what do? They steal, they pillage. We're just lucky they left out that third one.
Don't let this grass wither up and die.
I did all those adventure games for kids at Humongous Entertainment. We really had to come up with very contrived reasons why you weren't just stealing everything that you had to pick up.
I remember having to write a lot of lines for Pajama Sam about that, and my take was always, I found this, I better try and find the owner and give it back. So I started carrying around all these things that were going to go back to somebody.
Yeah.
Or if the person was there, he would always ask to borrow it. Could I borrow that?
Yeah. Because adventure games just do not teach children good habits at all.
I'll tell you what's gross.
But playing them can teach you valuable things like reading, English,
stealing,
pointing, clicking,
spitting,
saving often.
From the pro spitting circuit.
But you blow the horn and that makes the cannoneer fires cannon. Why does he do that?
It's an adventure game. Who knows?
And then you have to watch that girl's belt to see if the wind is blowing.
Because you have to blow.
Oh, and you have to move the flags.
To move the flags, that's why you keep distracting people with the cannon. Yeah.
Come on. Let's give
I like that new save icon they have.
So one of the things that you do is not cheating.
You distract the guy so you can move the flags. Oh, and then you're using
looking
wind,
for the wind.
which is also another thing a pirate have to do as a sailor.
Understand the wind.
Understand the direction of the wind.
You'll notice though with the green stuff that you make and drink, we sort of predicted the entire all the doping scandals and all the other sports. Do
you have to make special spit?
Is he juiced?
Yeah, you have to.
Skyber's juiced in this.
He's juiced. Yeah, you make the.
Oh, juiced. I thought you.
Juice.
The recipe of the green gunk that makes your spit better.
Why would that make your spit fly farther? Just
makes it hang together better.
Doesn't that make it also heavier?
Well, I'm not sure the weight of a glob of spit. There's a limiting factor there. You can spit it harder and it... Trust me, last time I was in a spitting contest...
Dave's going to write the Science of Monkey Island book.
It vaporizes. That's the problem with chucking pumpkins, too, is if you throw them too hard.
I like how I think this is Peter Chan's own writing. The flags say, spit and fun. Why would you put that on a flag and just spit?
That's why you don't let artists write.
And what would you put on?
It would be fun and spit.
Oh, well. That's much better.
Yeah, it rolls better.
Swallowing that stuff is gross.
When you can have the dialogue with Elaine where you can either insult her, you have to grovel a bunch to win the puzzle, but they can also have the choice to insult her. And I remember watching, and this one woman was playing it, she couldn't figure it out, she's like, and we're like, have you tried all the dialogue? She's like, I've tried every dialogue option. And we're like, what about that one there? There's a dialogue option about, have you gained weight? And she's like, wow, never say that to her. Like, that was like too. I learned a lot about.
Too far. That was the line.
Yeah, she's like, even to an imaginary video game character, I would never say, "Have you gained weight?"
These pants make me look fat.
An agreement.
I worked on this part, and there was a really funny bug where you make the chef mad at you, and he chases you around, harassing you. And I had a bug where I didn't get rid of the chef and make him go back to home if he left the area, so he'd follow you around the map. But the thing was, we'd reuse actor numbers, and he was actor 12 or something, and that actor was like Captain Dread's ship on the map. So like Captain Dread's ship would follow you around the map, yelling, "You are just some scum!" And I don't, and just every room you went into, a different random thing would just harass you and berate you.
Why didn't we leave that in?
Oh, this I love. This is one of my favorite parts here.
Wait, when did this happen?
When he jumps off the ship and goes down.
There was big tech here
Oh, yeah.
because we wanted to seem like a long time.
Oh, we did a scrolling.
It was big scrolling because we didn't have
And a
vertical
camera angle
scrolling.
change. There's a camera angle change because you look up
Well,
at the
it
boat.
looks, it looks like it. It's
looks-
not a
it looks
real
down.
camera angle change.
Well, because there's no
Were
actual
we-
cameras because it's 2D.
This
Doing
was
some
all
color
3D.
cycling
This was all
in that,
3D.
scene?
3D.
Yeah, we did color cycling for the water, and then we just moved.
There was no way to do a full screen effect with the
No.
technology of the day. Run on a 286.
No. We had,
Wait, so we actually had a
had-
red version of that. Oh, that was color cycling when we turned the forest red for the bone dance.
Must have been.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was going to kiss that monkey head. I remember Steve Purcell saying, "What am I going to do with 256 colors?" Like, we went from monkey 1 to 2, and he's like,
Too many colors. I
"Yeah,
can't
what
take
did they
it.
do?" For a long time, all they did was add gradients. They just like add a gradient of color in
Right.
between everything.
Steve has this amazing ability to take a block of 8 by 8 pixel block of 16 colors, make it look like anything.
And that stuff is now, these days, cooler looking. Like, you know how, like, 8-bit art in general looks really hip and stylish now.
That's right. There's a whole
But that in between, like,
revival movement.
VGA, I don't know if that will ever look hip and cool in the same way that, like, EGA looked. Remember when we had to go through the entire game monkey and make it work in CGA?
Yes.
Because some people only use CGA, that weird, gross combination of pink and
There was
green.
like 2 blues and 2 pinks or something.
It's like a cyan and a weird magenta. And,
But the game would work in our Hercules monitors, too, though.
That's right.
It was on monochrome, yeah.
Monitors. That was undocumented support.
yeah, we never shipped to work on the Hercules monitor, but we always had those
It
separate.
did though.
We always had those separate Hercules monitors. Those were our debug windows.
And we
did
had
all
a
the
separate
debugging.
Mac for our email because we couldn't be bothered to use email somehow. And email didn't work on PCs back then, I guess. I remember for a long time, the characters were the wrong scale in this room. Guybrush was like really tiny compared to this giant guy sitting at the end of the dock.
Right. You have an amazing memory.
I only remembered the bad things.
The bugs
It was that
lasted
way
for
for a long time
time.
until someone pointed it out. I was like, that guy's 3 times as big as Guybrush. Oh, the
Did
library.
we had to make like a special big Guybrush to go in the room?
Yeah, because we didn't have that kind of scaling. We could scale down, but we
But
couldn't
not up.
scale up.
Yeah. Just turn into giant pixels anyway.
But we had all those extra floppy disks, so we could just as much of that stuff as we wanted. I remember when you had that squirt bottle by your desk, and when people would come in and they would talk to you for too long, you would squirt them like we were cats.
And eventually,
And then-
everyone turned on me and they tackled me, and like Brett held me down underneath Tammy's desk and opened the lid on the squirt bottle and
drenched
dumped it on my head.
And then you went home pouting.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You went home mad.
Well, I was pretty mad. I was like, can't you take a joke?
Can't you take a joke?
See, this is another one of
Oh, it-
those puzzles where you're locked in one place.
Yeah, I like those.
I love that bit of dialogue. I don't even know who wrote it, but he makes the bones out of Guybrush's. He makes a chair out of his bones, and he called it a screaming chair. 'Cause I forget why. It was awesome.
I think that came from that thing about H.R. Geiger. He made a chair out of his dead girlfriend.
Wait, no. That was the guy.
Or maybe it's a myth that he did, but I remember talking about that, and I think that's why we
I
did
thought
that.
that was some other guy. Wasn't it the guy who shot his wife with a bow and arrow and made a chair of bones?
You see that?
Who shot his wife with a bow and arrow?
Robin Hood?
The guy from Naked Lunch.
Oh, Burroughs.
Burroughs,
Is that
didn't
the
he?
bow and arrow? I think he shot her.
Or he shot her with the gun, and then he made a chair out of her bones. That's pretty gruesome. He probably
That's
didn't
pretty
do
gruesome.
that. That's probably something
yeah.
I'm misremembering.
Seems
Never
slightly
mind.
unlikely.
This was fun how you had to line everything up and get the spit that we'd used earlier.
Oh my god, what brilliant foreshadowing.
Down into the pit of acid.
Oh, this nice green liquid to kind of motivate you to do that.
Why did we make this game so long?
It was
there's
like
the
an
head bones
insecurity.
and
I think obviously we were insecure, and we wanted to make it bigger. We had like a size issue.
We had short game syndrome from
Yeah.
the first one.
No one ever complained about the first game. Like nowadays, no matter what you do, people say your game's short. Back then, no one complained about it. Did they complain about Monkey being short?
No, it didn't.
Just management.
No, when? No.
No, nobody complained about it.
Complained about Monkey being
I just
long.
think we over designed it, and then we also cut a lot out of this game.
I used to sit next to Tabby Toasty. Tabitha Toasty, who ran the hint line, was right outside my office, and I would listen to her give hints all day long. And it was like, you take the map and you go by here, because she would just tell it. She wouldn't like give hints like, well, what do you think it is? She would just lay it out. Walk over here and do this.
People were paying money. They just want the answer.
Yeah,
Right now.
I guess so. But she'd always answer the phone the same way. Look, Sergeant, can I help you?
Well, my favorite was when they would call for hints, and they would get the hint to do what to do, and then they would say, and then what happens?
Then you'll find out.
Well, go try this.
Do they still have hint lines?
Probably not with live
I think the
people.
internet
Yeah.
destroyed.
The internet destroyed hint lines.
The
You can't
internet
call and
followed
get-
but for one brief glorious moment of history, that was like the biggest money maker for the entire company. I think was the hint line.
You remember these rooms? It was just one background, and we'd turn on and off
Is
the
it
doors.
yeah,
generic room technology from
Pseudo
Indy
rooms.
4?
Yeah, I think we had a patent on that.
Pseudo rooms.
You can see it there when it flashes like that. You can
Yeah,
see
see, that's when it was weird when you cut from one to the other, because certain things would not change and other things would change.
Because it was originally like in Indy 4 when you go through the castle, you go into a room, then you go into a hallway, then you go into another room, you don't see it.
Right.
That was such a great game. It was
Indy
Indy
4?
3. Indy 3.
Last Crusade.
Yeah, Last Crusade. That's
Yeah.
when you go in the cat in the.
Yeah.
The old
Well, Last
Browser
Crusade
game.
was when we first started doing the little dialogue.
That was the, yeah, you
choice
mentioned the
things.
dialogue puzzles.
Yeah, and then I think in Monkey 1, it was almost like the whole concept was proved out in a way, and then I think we went nuts on Monkey 2 with the dialogues. This is where it all comes together and is explained fully.
I think people might not understand this ending because you have to know a lot about numerology and science. And there's a lot of physics references.
Food processing.
The Fibonacci sequence is incredibly important to this. All the clues.
We went back and forth a lot, or around and around, I guess, a lot about the ending. Like, you had it in your head and was like, I don't know, should we really do this? And we were trying to think of something different that was going to be better. And I think I may have
remember that.
actually convinced you to do the ending that we did at dinner one night. I was like, no, we should just do it. It'll be great. It'll be kind of,
I don't know.
kind of
I remember
ambiguous and
we
70s like.
went around and around.
I kind
and
of remember it
around
more
and
as
the
an
whole thing.
iterative thing that we like did. We did one part, and then we're like, let's add one more twist on the end of it. And let's add, you know what? And let's add another one at the end to make it like the first one didn't count. And let's add one more, and it kept getting, and it was hilarious.
Well, I think if this ending gets mentioned all the time on top 10 best endings of computer games is the ending to Monkey Island 2.
And it
I thought they
also
complained
gets
about
mentioned
it.
on
Wait,
the
hold on.
top 10 worst endings. It's like very controversial ending.
but
People
isn't
either
that
love
perfect,
it or they
though?
hate it. In some ways, yeah.
I'd almost
that's what
rather
you want.
make
You want people
something
to talk
that
about
half the
it.
people loved and half the people hated than a bunch of people
something
felt
everybody was just
mediocre
kinda like,
about. Yeah.